Hello, everyone. Casey here from FranSmart, and today we have a very special guest with us. We are talking with Hector Haget, a Texas and California Cilantro Taco Grill franchisee. He's a Cuban-born American who's been in franchising for over 15 years, a 14-unit area developer for Jersey Mike's, and now the first Texas and California franchisee for Cilantro Taco Grill, and just broke ground on your first Texas location. Uh, Hello, Hector. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you, Casey? Good to see you.
Doing good, doing good. Thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know, I gave big highlights, but can you just go a bit more into your background in franchising, from being with Jersey Mike's, now with Cilantro Taco Grill, and, what that journey has looked like for you?
Sure. As you said, I spent about 25 years or so in the corporate world, just going through the routine. And I ended up with a venture capital group, buying companies, selling companies, so forth and so on, and really wanted to get into something that we could do on our own. And so we started a Jersey Mike's, the first Jersey Mike's in Orange County, California. We put in when back in 2008. And we were just doing it as an experiment, really. My wife wanted to do something, and I was like, okay, this might be a good idea. I love this concept. Let's try this out. And when we got into it, we realized that it was just going to be potentially a great opportunity. So I basically cashed out of everything we were doing on the corporate world and decided we were just going to become full-time, 100%, multi-unit franchisees. So I went from the corporate boardroom to sliced sandwiches, which was quite an experience and a change.
Yeah.
For us. So, but it was a great experience, and we felt like it was a great opportunity. And when we started with Jersey Mike's, there was only 300 stores or so in the system, and now there's over 3,000. So we've been on quite a ride with that brand, and it's been an amazing adventure and a great opportunity for us and my family. And we've been able to establish a true family business, and with children and nephews and all kinds of things and in the business. So we are building the type of business that is sustainable, hopefully for the long term to come. So when we got into Jersey Mike's, after we did the first couple of stores, we decided, this could really be good. We did an area development agreement to develop the South Orange County area. And so that's when we got into expanding the brand into the 14 locations, that we now have. And then we have a couple in Texas that we expanded into as well, which kind of established a base with my partner and son-in-law, Chris Tate, in Texas, who's also my partner, still my son-in-law, for Cilantro Taco Grill. So
Nice.
So that's the avenue that led us into cilantro. After we established the Jersey Mike's brand, we really built it out to where we were thank God we were very successful, and we're able to build and expand. And we decided that it was time to start looking at potential opportunities to expand the portfolio. So that's where the cilantro opportunity kind of presented itself, and we started investigating and looking into it.
Yeah. What stuck out to you about cilantro?
As you mentioned earlier, I'm a Cuban immigrant, right? I came as a young boy here to the United States, and I have lived, the American dream, literally, coming here with a couple suitcases and my parents and clothes in a suitcase, and that's basically all we got to this country with. And my dad was lucky enough to be able to go to college and attend college here in the States, and then went back to Cuba, and then the whole regime change and all that stuff. So then we ended up here, and when we started looking into other concepts, and I ran across cilantro through Al Rowe, when I met Temuk, it was like we were kindred spirits, if you will. His story so much matched up to my story.
Mhm.
Coming here as an immigrant, working your way up, living the dream, building a business, um, bringing your family into the business, which is, people say you get into business. Sometimes people want to just make money. I really got into this because I felt like I was trying to figure out, what was going to be my legacy for my family. My dad's legacy was clear, right? He got us to this country. He gave us the opportunities to do the things that we have been able to do, his children. So I was trying to figure out where's my place in our family legacy, if you will. And this just
Yeah.
created such a great opportunity. When I heard his story and I started talking to him, and we just hit it off so well with Tim and his team and Gerardo and the guys over there, that I just felt like it was, even though they were very new and very young, right, in this whole world of franchising, they had a concept that obviously had been proven, had legs, had been around for years, and he built it the same way I built my business. So it was there were so many similarities in our stories, not only in business but in life, that I felt like it was just really a potentially, really good partnership.
Yeah, I know from even from our talks before, just how with you and with them, just how much you guys relate. And like you said, just how much actually your journeys have been so similar in
Yeah,
building your businesses that it just seems like a natural fit
yeah,
for you to be, and I have to ask too, a little bit of a tangent, but what did you think of the food when you went and, took you and your family on Discovery Day and got to try everything and meet the rest of the cilantro team? What did you think
yeah,
of?
yeah. I think, Casey, as you know, if you're going to be in the restaurant business, you got to have a couple core anchors, right?
Mhm.
You got to have the great service, but you got to have great product. You got to have a product that stands out, that is sustainable, that is repeatable, that people come in and go, wow, I need to come back here and eat. All right. And that's kind of where that's why we landed with Jersey Mike's. When we tried that product, it was the same. I kind of had the same feeling when I tried cilantro, right? And look, I live in Southern California. There's
Mhm.
Mexican places all over the place, right? I mean, we can get
Yeah.
Mexican food here anywhere, but this was a little unique. This was incredible quality, just unbelievable.
Oh,
The
yeah.
quality of the product
So
and the
good.
flavor profiles were just delicious, right? I mean, the meat and the proteins are just seasoned and cooked, perfectly, so that you're
Yeah.
really getting that profile of something unique in a taco, not just taco, right? It's
Mhm.
so the quality of the food, I think, was unbelievable, and then the breadth of the product without getting too complicated was really unbelievable for a
Yeah.
fast casual type, Mexican concept.
Mhm. Yeah, they really bring in that just preserving that authenticity of real Mexican food and
Correct.
keeping it fresh and keeping the operations efficient. Just even them all giving, the tour of the back of house, this is how, like, this is how we keep our meats fresh and we marinate them. This is how we make it to order. This is how we maintain that quality. It just blew my mind that you could get something so so good because I'm in
Yep.
Phoenix and we can get of course we can get really great Mexican food too, just all around the valley here. So experiencing that like same and better quality at Salon and knowing how many locations they grew is huge.
Yeah, it was the, I can honestly say there was, and I think we ate for days, it seemed like, but we ate for hours. And there wasn't, and we tried the whole menu because Chris, my
Mhm.
partner, and I were like, we're not leaving here without really understanding, that the breadth of this product is
Mhm.
consistent and good and different. And so we ate tortas, we ate burritos, we ate tacos, we ate everything and we tasted everything. And there was not one item that we ran across that we were like, this is okay. Everything was just above board,
So good.
outstanding. Really was.
Yeah, and they really they go all out when you visit too. It was the same.
Yeah, you better
Usually
come hungry.
go out and see them, it's like a whole table full
Yeah,
of just delicious food.
don't eat the day before. Come hungry.
Yeah, no, no, come hungry, come fresh off the plane hungry. Oh man. So shifting a little bit, speaking of you becoming the first Texas franchisee, can you tell us more about your location expected to open in
Yeah,
Q1?
yeah, we're so pumped about that.
Yeah.
We're really excited to be the first Texas franchisee and what it potentially can lead to. It's kind of reinvigorated my franchise, my love of restaurant and franchising with this new concept in Texas
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
feel like we're at a place where we could potentially do things like we did with Jersey Mike's when we started in
Mhm.
California, right? And even to a bigger scale. So our first location is in Salina, Texas. It's right on the border of Prosper, Texas, and Salina, Texas.
Okay.
It's right across the street from one of the largest high schools in the state called Prosper High School. Um, it's going to be a cool little spot because we're doing some things that are a little bit different from what Cilantro has been doing because we wanted to experiment. Since this is the first one in Texas, we
Mhm.
kind of feel in Texas there's a couple things that people um, look for, right? So when the weather's good, people like to go and hang out and sit on a patio. So we found a location that is right in the mid-size range, about 1900 square feet. Got a beautiful patio in the front. We're going to close it in. We're going to build a nice, connection to the building. We're going to be serving beer and wine. We're going to be doing some things that I think will create a fast casual great dining experience for
Mhm.
the folks in Texas. So, in Texas, you've got a lot of Tex Mex, right?
Mhm.
There's also, more traditional Mexican like cilantro, but there's not that many great places, right?
Yeah.
Actually, there's very few great places that are traditional Mexican like cilantro's product is. So, we're in a booming area. We It's taken us over a year to get this going because everything that we're getting into for cilantro is ground up. There's very few
Mhm.
existing buildings that we could go into. So it's been a development process, but we've got 3 sites now that we've got kind of nailed down. The first one will be opening, we hope, towards the end of January. So for sure, early first quarter. And we're super excited about that. And the buzz around the neighborhood already is people are talking about this new taco
Mhm.
place coming in from, they don't know where it's from. I mean,
Mhm.
but, just the name Cilantro Taco Grill kind of lets people know, what we're doing. Right. So I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of buzz and excitement in the air, right, about us coming in already. And we're super excited about getting that first store open.
Oh yeah. And you know, just having that outpour from the community before you even open already
Oh yeah.
is huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Um, and on that note, you are opening just so far from Chicago and you're going to be that first Texas franchisee because they're a powerhouse Chicago brand. How is that translated to you over in Texas opening that first location?
Yeah. That's a great question. And we hope it translates very well. um, but we're going to learn, right?
Mhm.
No, I think one of the things that also really sealed the deal for me after having done this for 16 years now, and with a couple different brands, and we've tried other brands and
Mhm.
decided to get out because they just weren't for whatever reason, right? Multitude of
Mhm.
reasons. Um, but what I found with this is that when Temuck decided that, hey, look, we're going to franchise this thing, I think he recognized that he had to make some operational changes to be able to have long-term sustainability, long-term legs in the marketplace, consistency in product. And that was what excited us about what we saw as well, is that as we go to Texas, we felt like what they were doing to standardize their product and how they're delivering their proteins and how things are going to be cooked and how things are being made,
Mhm.
uh, we felt was sustainable and deliverable anywhere. right? So going to Texas from Chicago, even though it was in Chicago, they've got distribution centers in Houston. They've got places that they're establishing around the country where they'll be able to deliver a consistent product to the locations, to the restaurants, and we'll be able to cook and serve and deliver to our customers the same product that they're making in Chicago. And I felt really good about that. I think that was one of the big things about
Mhm.
comfort level of being the first one in
Yeah.
Texas, right? That always comes with growing pains, right? It's distribution channels. It's what happens if you're out of something and there's no other store. You can't go to another store to help, So thinking about all the
Mhm.
supply chain issues that we might deal with, but understanding what they're doing to streamline that on the back end made me feel very comfortable about, being first. And first, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages as well.
Mhm.
Right? We were first in Orange County, and people would come by and say, "Well, what is the Jersey Mike's?" We're going to have the same issue. Well, what's Cilantro Taco? We never heard of them, right? It's not a national brand yet at this point, so we're
Mhm.
going to educate and everything. But being first also has its advantages. People are going to go like, "Wow, where did this come from? This is amazing!" Right? When we open the second store, and the third store, and the fourth store, we'll
Mhm.
start that ground game and that traction, getting that traction.
Oh yeah, and I know that that's been a huge focus for them is getting that infrastructure built up in Texas and working with that commissary and just making sure that the franchisees there are just ready to go, secure, ready to open a bunch of locations. So,
Yeah.
um, oh yeah, and on that similar note, I know you mentioned too being close with Dimok, the founder. How has the support been from him personally as
uh,
you've been out there?
I'll be honest. When you in the franchise business, when you decide you want to franchise with somebody, you're not just franchising with the company, right? In other words, you're not just franchising with the brand, you're franchising with the people behind that brand, because at the end of the day, it's a partnership, right? And the partnership only works if both sides win, right? So we have to be able to win as a franchisee. They have to be able to win as a franchisor, and that relationship is critical. And Tamak, his team, Gerardo, his ops COO, who's also his brother, obviously, um, have been amazing to work with. I can call those guys on their cell phones at 10 o'clock at night. They pick the phone up, they answer.
Mhm.
They're just solid, and I think that's where that relationship really got off to a right start. They knew what we wanted to do from a franchise standpoint. They know that I want to help Cilantro be successful in what we do in
Mhm.
Texas, and they've bent over backwards for us so far to kind of keep things going. Now they've got their growing pains, right? They're developing, they're selling units all over the country right now, and brands catching fire. So they've got a lot on their plate, but they're always available. And I've never felt like I couldn't reach out to any one of those guys over there on that team and talk to somebody if I had an issue. So the relationship and the support from not only ownership but down through,
Mhm.
Erdogan and some of the other guys over there, their IT guys, their operations guys has been really good, really good.
Yeah, I think it's just I've noticed that too. Like they really do work together so well, and they're just right there for their franchisees or their employees or anyone that works with them. They're just there to support them
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
yeah,
Um, and I know, yeah, Gerardo has also gone out to Texas a bunch of times and met
yes,
with you and looked at sites
yes.
personally, and it's just amazing to see when franchisors are just really invested in that
Yeah,
success.
and I think the other thing on that too, Casey, is that these guys
Mhm.
recognize that because this is a new brand and they're going in different markets, that we might have to make some twists, little tweaks to
Mhm.
different things that they've done in Chicago. They've been successful, but in Texas, maybe it's a little different perspective, right? So they're
Mhm.
so open to ideas and input that it makes it really easy to work together and move the needle forward. So that's been really a breath of fresh air, if you will, in working with these guys, because um, it 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 keeps you it helps you understand that you're not in it by yourself, and that these guys
Mhm.
are there to support you. And I throw a crazy idea out there, and I say, look, I want to be able to serve tap beer. Well, we've never done that. It's like, But if you think that's what you need to do there based on your audience, based on people being in the restaurants, said for sure, let's work it out. Let's figure out how to do it. Right. And we did it.
Awesome.
So this first store is, we'll have, 4 heads of tap beer, and we'll be serving tap beer with the tacos and having our Taco Tuesday nights and all that kind of good stuff. So, but that's the kind of thing that these guys are open to discuss, right? And have conversations about to make sure we can incorporate anything that we think will help us succeed without getting outside of the boundary of what cilantro
Yeah.
is about, right?
But that's still, I mean, I think you summed it up perfectly. Like they know that their franchisees, no matter where they are in the country, they know how to kind of make that successful and are totally open to, as long as, of course, it's in brand, having those big ideas and changing it to the market that they're in just so they're the most
Yeah.
successful it can be. So that's awesome. Yeah. And on that similar note, talking about growth, where do you see uh where do you see yourself growing with cilantro over the next 5, even 10 years?
Yeah. So I joke with these guys, right? And I told them, I said, look, um, I love you guys. I said, but you never know what can happen, right? I mean, this thing could be great or it could not be great. So I'm going to put my toe in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did that 5-store development deal in Texas, and we did a couple stores for California. But I told them, I said, if this is what I think it is, I said, just, my whole head's going underwater, right? I'm not just going to
Mm-hmm.
put my toe in. We're going to do this. We're going to blow this thing up in that North Texas area. So if this is everything we believe that it is, I don't see why we couldn't, really be have a large development program in the North Texas area. And what those numbers are, I don't know. They could 20, 30, 40. I have no idea what that ends up being. We'll
Mm-hmm.
develop that, in a smart way and in a strategic way. But there's no question that it's well beyond, 5 units, as far as what the future looks like, assuming everything works the way we think it's going to work.
Yeah, that's incredible. I would love to go out to Texas in 10 years and see 40 cilantros.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be
And not
awesome.
only there, but in Houston market, and I mean it's a product that's got legs anywhere. I mean everybody, Mexican food is one of those top categories, right? Just like sandwiches, just like pizza, it's in chicken, it's in that category of pretty much core outdoor. People go out to eat type foods or go to get
Yeah.
type foods. So I think the opportunity is only restricted by our desire to grow, really. So as long as I can keep Tamak and Gerardo happy with our growth path, I think we can open as many stores as we really want to, because
Yeah.
I think our partnership is that good that they'll be behind it, and we'll definitely get behind it and develop it. And funny, he was. I saw an interview somewhere. I don't know if it was with. I'm not sure where it was. It was with a franchise company or something, where they were interviewing Tamak, and they were talking to him, and they said, well, who all's in your business? He goes, oh, I got my whole family. I got 10, 12 relatives in the business. And I said, well, I've got 8 to 10 relatives in the business between kids and son-in-laws and nephews. So we're very much in the same boat in that arena. So, we have to build a bunch of stores. I got a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of people that want to grow and build generational wealth for their families. And more importantly, we want to create some opportunities for people out there that maybe wouldn't have the same opportunities that I've been given or that Tamak's been given, to create some generational wealth for their families in the Latino market and the Latino community. Because I think that's one of the beautiful things about what these guys are trying to do in creating opportunities um, for growth and for independent uh,
Yeah.
growth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their whole mission is uplifting Latino immigrant communities through franchising and, creating a clearer path to franchising and to opening your own business, to building that generational wealth and changing that legacy for your family. They're just geared so towards that and about building those programs that even their employees can become franchisees
Yeah.
of locations. So I think that that's definitely something that's resonated not only with me working with the brand, but with franchisees that I speak with that just want to be a part of that growth and for creating those opportunities for other people. So I think it's something really special.
Yeah. I think it's unique, and I think it's and and the opportunity really presents itself to anybody. You might just have a great
Mhm.
employee that you want to just give an opportunity to do something they'd never have a chance to do, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's exciting. I think it's a noble cause, and hopefully we'll be able to do that as well as we develop and take our growth up to bigger numbers and higher opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man.
Yeah.
So switching gears just a little bit,
Yeah.
as a seasoned franchisee, as someone who's been in the industry for now 16 years, you know, what are your perspectives on the way that, fast casual is changing or that QSR is changing? And how do you see Cilantro Taco Grill adapting or in some cases leading those changes?
Yeah. So, as you know, Casey, you almost have to divide that between California and the rest of the country, because
Yeah.
California and fast casual has created its own world, right?
Mhm.
With labor rates and with requirements for being in business and all the things that go along with doing business in California. Now, having
Mhm.
said that, the industry is obviously evolving. I think um, labor is always going to be a challenge in our business because of the type of employees that we hire tend to be shorter term employees, right?
Mhm.
A large portion of that crew is a rotational crew. So you're always
Yeah.
training, you're always hiring, and then you have a core base in the fast casual business or in the QSR business. That's, your core business really that runs the business. So um, training is challenging. Keeping people is always a challenge. But I think what's changed, the most in the fast casual business since COVID is that we have identified that if we were to have another occurrence like we did in 2020, where there's a
Mhm.
lockdown or a shutdown, which hope to God that never happens again, right? But you have to be in businesses that are sustainable through that type of an environment. And the
Mhm.
businesses that are sustainable through that type of environment are the businesses that can scale up and scale down very quickly, right? Whether it's sandwiches or pizza or Mexican food, right? You could scale up or scale down very quickly and still run your business, right? Whether it's a delivery business, whether it's a takeout business, whatever it is. So the labor element of that is very important. And
Mhm.
I think what Cilantro has also done with what they're doing with the standardization of
Mhm.
their products has allowed for when you look at you know the world of franchise changing. Franchises come and go. Rubio's are closing stores left and right, and they've been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But when you get into real estate and concepts that require lots of overhead, you
Mhm.
can't scale up or scale down quickly and
Right.
during the cycles, right? So I think when I look at franchising, that's what I see as like you have to be prepared to deal with anything and to deal with the cycles that may or may not come. And so your
Mhm.
business has to be structured in a way where you can scale it quickly if you need to. And it has to be a product, in my mind, that is sustainable through anything that will travel, as I like to call it. Your product
Mhm.
needs to be able to travel. When you're a sit down restaurant, you're going to deal with some severe issues like a lot of folks did in 2020. When you're a fast casual QSR, if you can scale up and down and respond, you'll survive, right? Which is the key. So
Yeah.
that part of the business is critical. And then I think the last thing of it is in the franchise business, your product has to be 100% sustainable, right? You
Mhm.
cannot you cannot go through ups and downs and variance. That's one thing about the Jersey Mike's business, since 1956, it's been the same way for
Mhm.
70 years, right? I think I think what Temuk and his team are doing with the sustainability through the commissaries and establishing those standards across the board is what's going to carry that sustainability for them for the next 20 years, right? Because they're always going
Yeah.
to know what's coming out of their restaurants. And I think that's what's made Jersey Mike successful. I think that's what can make Cilantro very successful going forward, is that it's going to be a repeatable, sustainable, scalable business at all times.
Yeah, and I think just speaking to the way we frame it a lot of times is, it's the authenticity of a taqueria, but it's the scalability of a Chipotle, and just the way that they've been able to, like you said, standardize, set that foundation, and retain just high quality food, I think is really incredible for the space. Because so often when you go and have real Mexican food that tastes like it's from Mexico, you're at a sit down place, or
Yes. Yes.
you go, yeah, to like a specialized families place. But Cilantro's really cracked that code on taking that same amazing food and, like you were saying, just making it scalable and standardized to, yeah, take them across the country.
Yeah,
So,
I think that to that element, right, is that when people go to eat tacos, they want, if you're looking for an authentic taco, you always think, oh, I got to find a taqueria, a little hole in the wall, or a little this or a little that, that you just go in and grab some tacos and you head out, right? I think
mhm,
that's where Cilantro is where hopefully where we can create that niche of the quality of that taqueria and that authentism of that
mhm.
food, but in a really cool environment and in a really different approach to what the traditional taqueria looks like, in all honesty.
Yeah, their branding and their locations are just so, um, they're so like, just a lot of natural light, a lot of fun signs everywhere, a lot of space that you can, still go and sit with your family, but super
Yes.
convenient to go and pick up the food as well. And I think that that's something, like you said, they kind of carved out their own niche in that area, where it's going to be a taqueria that's a franchise that, you can go there to get great quality food no matter where you are at.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree
Yeah.
with you. I agree with you 100%. I think that's part of the allure to what those guys are doing,
Hmm.
and what the brand's doing. So, time will be the measure, the true tale of success. But I think based on the trajectory that we're on now, and like I said, we haven't even opened our first store yet, but we just feel so confident and so positive about what this is, that
Hmm.
even if we struggled out the chute, we feel like we'd figure it out, and we'd be, we're going to be head and shoulders above. And we just feel like there's no room, there's no chance for failure. And when you
Hmm.
start with, and I can speak from that with experience, we picked up a concept several years ago, that was the hottest dessert thing going, right? And everybody's like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
this thing is great, everybody loves it. And I never had the feeling that's like, yeah, it's great and it's hot and everybody wants it and people were begging us to come put stores in. But I just never had the feeling that it was sustainable, right? It was a dessert product. How sustainable is that for the whole year, for
Hmm.
seasonality, for all those kind of things? And I ended up, my instincts ended up being correct, in that the company basically just boom went out in a blaze of glory and just
Hmm.
fizzled 3 4 years later, right? So
Yeah.
I don't see that with this. I see sustainability. I see systems in place to make sure it's sustainable, and the product is, like I said, it's where exactly it needs to be. There's no question that this is authentic Mexican food, and how you'd get it at any Mexican taqueria in Mexico or anywhere else.
Hmm. Yeah, no question about it. And we would know. We're from the Southwest,
Correct.
Southern California and Phoenix. We
Correct.
know good
Correct.
Mexican.
And I think for Texas, for us too, right?
Yes.
That Texas is, growing up in Texas as I did, and Tex-Mex is the thing, right? I mean,
Hmm.
there's plenty of restaurants, and Tex-Mex is a unique flavor profile, and but this is completely different in that
Hmm.
Mexican arena. So I think we have a place. There's plenty of people in Texas. There's plenty of palates in Texas, and this will go nicely as a option to Tex-Mex. If you don't want Tex-Mex, you go taco. You don't want tacos, you can go Tex-Mex. But
Hmm.
we definitely have a lane that I think
Mhm.
in Texas will fit nicely. The cilantro brand will fit very nicely in.
Oh yeah, and all those high school kids from from that first
From
location.
Prosper, yeah, for sure. We're
They'll
hoping they're walking across the street having tacos for lunch.
oh, they definitely will. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, thank you so much, Hector, for taking the
Yeah.
time to chat with us today. Is there anything else that you wanted to leave about Cilantro Taco Grill? Or anything else?
Um, no, I would just say in closing that we are very excited about this brand. We're very excited about the growth opportunity with this brand, and that we thank Tim and his group for giving us the opportunity to join them and partner with them, and we're really looking forward to what the future holds over the next several years and what the development plans look like, because it could be an exciting ride for the next 3 to 5 years.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
So
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much
thank you.
again for your time, and I hope you have a great day.
Okay, have a great day.
You too.